You sure sound good, Doc.
Well, I'm trying real hard, Nick, doing the best I can. 82 years has slowed me down just a pinch, though.
Yeah, I haven't heard that yet, but maybe that's coming. I will say this, in the many hundreds of shows that we've done here, eTown shows, you're the first performer who ever kind of made it a condition that you get to play longer than usual. And I think at 82 years, that's pretty good.
And I'm the first one, huh?
I think that's a sign of health, if there is one, I'd say. Now, Doc, let me just visit with you a while. I want to ask you about the first time you got a harmonica, because I know we had talked once before about how you used to take pieces of wire and string them onto barn doors and whatever you could think of to make music.
Well, my dad bought me for Christmas the first harmonica I got. I was 6 years old, and I surely couldn't play the thing then, that's for sure. Dad was singing leader at the church, and he knew shape notes, and he got the thing and blew on it a little bit, and he said, "Now, son, there's notes on this thing, just like you hear me sing in the songbook, like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do." And then he played them on the harmonica. He said, "Some of them you push, and some of them you pull." The same year, he made me a little fretless banjo. Now, I'm not going into detail, but he saw an advertisement in Sears Roebuck catalog for a Joe Rogers catskin banjo head. Well, to make a long story short, my grandmother didn't have the money to have the vet to put the poor old thing to sleep, so she hired my brother to put it to sleep, and Dad fixed the skin into a fine banjo head. You could read a newspaper through it. It was so beautiful.
But I understand the cat had already lived a good long life at that time.
The cat had lived 21 years.
Yeah.
Couldn't eat, couldn't walk, couldn't see.
There you go. And then you had yourself a banjo, and it was a good-sounding banjo at that.
Well, it was a fairly good-sounding banjo for one without frets. I had a little bit of a hard time of learning to do what I could hear my dad do on that thing, but, when I got to where I could pick pretty good, he handed it to me one day, only it was a better one by that time. He'd bought me one with frets, and I said, "Dad, play me a tune on that thing like you used to." And he said, "Oh, you can beat me all to pieces, son. Pick me something." Never played no more. He never picked it up again.
Wow. Now, it wasn't long after that you did go away to school, to the State School for the Blind for a little while. And that must have been like going to the moon for somebody from Deep Gap.
It was bad because you couldn't come home until the full term was over. Later, the year I quit, they started letting us come home at Christmas.
Just in time.
I started to high school, but I didn't like it, and I quit.
Yeah. But around that time, you got a guitar, and that was really, that kind of clicked for you.
Well, now, I was in my early teens when I got that guitar. My brother had borrowed one the year before that from one of my cousins, and Dad said, "Son, if you'll learn to play a tune on that thing when I get in from work," it was on Friday, he said, "tomorrow we'll go to town and you can take the money out of your piggy bank and I'll finish it up and we'll buy you a little guitar." It was a Stella. Cost $12, and I wish I had it yet.
You had to learn how to play a tune in order for you to pass the test.
I learned to play When the Roses Bloom in Dixieland, and you ought to heard my little voice singing that thing. It hadn't yet changed.
And that's an old Carter family tune. So that was the music you grew up listening to, Carter family stuff, but then you started listening to other stuff too.
They were the first people that I listened to on the old records that didn't already come with the old phonograph. Dad bought the same year that he got me the first harmonica, and there was 50 records of that thing. And they ranged from old-time fiddling and picking to the blues people like John Hurt and the Memphis Joke Stompers and Furry Lewis, a bunch of those people. And then there was Dixieland jazz records in there. Gid Tanner and the Skillet Lickers. And
I bet you listened to those records a few times.
Yes, we did.
And rock and roll too, rockabilly, Elvis Presley, all that stuff? Or?
Yeah, I used to do Jailhouse Rock and a bunch of them.
Oh, cool. Well, Doc, I'm just assuming that everybody out here is as interested as I am in your story, and I know that we're also just as interested to hear you play. We're going to fast forward a little bit and just let folks know that You were lucky enough to have a son who grew up to be musical and grew up to be your musical partner. And you and Merle recorded together and traveled together. Many of you know that about 20 years ago, Merle was killed in a tractor accident, and he was only 36 years old. And there was a big festival. Doc and Rosalie and some others got together in Merle's honor, started something that's now become known simply as Merle Fest. And it's about the biggest festival there is back in the eastern part of the United States. And I'm going to get out of here and let Doc get back to playing some more music, but you've got now with you Merle's son, Richard, who's going to join you right now and play some music. Welcome back to eTown, if you would, along with Richard Watson, legendary Doc Watson.
Thank you, Nick.